Please put your hands together for John Morgan. On today's video, you're going to hear a great story told by John Morgan, and it's about almost getting into a fight in a bar.
I am not a big Johnny Cash fan. No offense to Johnny Cash fans. Some of them are my friends.
That's right, you heard it here. We get people that come to Story Slam who sometimes might get a little angry while getting a little inebriated. And now, I don't actually think that John here ever got angry in this story, but you'll see what happens. Before we get to that, I just want to thank you for tuning in. Been having a lot of fun here on YouTube. I'm relatively new to YouTube. You know, I've been doing the Madison Story Slam podcast, which you can find on your favorite podcast app by searching for Madison Story Slam and hitting subscribe. But on YouTube, I'm pretty new, so I'm new to the whole, like, hey, we do video things, and I guess you have to tell your people that are watching to please subscribe and hit the notification bell and a thumbs up. I just feel like I feel like a beggar on YouTube. I gotta be honest. I feel like I'm begging people to make this successful. If it's successful, great, but like, I'm just doing it because I'm passionate about this, and I hope that you're encouraged by these videos and that you laugh sometimes or maybe you cry sometimes. We're a community. It's Madison Story Slam. We believe in building community through storytelling. So this is just another avenue for us to build the community. We have several community members who have moved out of Madison but still want to stay connected. One of those ways you can stay connected is the third Saturday of every month. If you go to Facebook and you search for Madison Story Slam, you can find our live stream of our events. Again, that's the third Saturday of every month. The live video stream starts at around 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's always a blast. You can go to patreon.com/Madison Story Slam to help us grow. I got to figure out a better way to do this. I don't want to sit here and just like whore myself out. I hate that word. I don't like that phrase. But I just don't want you guys to feel like I'm like, I don't know, doing this for the wrong reasons. I'm not. But it does help when people go to Patreon and become patrons. But yeah, so John is telling a great story about being in a bar, and it's almost like being in a musical. This story is like being in a musical where people just break out in song, and it's a lesson in how to make friends. So here is one of my favorite storytellers we've ever had. I love his voice. I want him to read all of my audiobooks from here on out. Here is John Morgan.
Well, this story is about one fine day, because it was a fine day. So one fine day, I went down to my favorite watering hole at happy hour to have a beer. And I got there a little early. Most of the regulars hadn't showed up yet. There were only two other people in the bar, two guys sitting down in the middle of the bar. And then Johnny Cash came on the jukebox singing Ring of Fire. And the guy nearest to me started singing along. He sang the whole song. Well, it was a little annoying, but it's one of those things you learn to put up with. Now, as much as I love folk music, I am not a big Johnny Cash fan. No offense to Johnny Cash fans. Some of them are my friends. The only two songs Johnny Cash sang that I like are The Man Comes Around and 2 Feet High and Rising. So another Johnny Cash song came on, and this guy sang the whole song. About that time, I was getting close to my breaking point. I had an impulse to pour a beer on his head. But since I'm a peaceful person, I overcame the urge. And before I realized they had probably played the whole album. So before the next same song came on, I glanced down at this guy to take a closer look at him, and I saw he's holding his smartphone up just about an inch from his eyes. And I realized he's legally blind. Well, after that, he didn't sound so bad. So on the next song, about halfway through, his friend joined in, and they sang a duet. And I had another beer and just decided to relax and enjoy the entertainment. It was starting to sound pretty good. So the next song that came on was The Man Comes Around. I don't know all of that song, but I know some of it. So when they got to the point, the part of the song that I know, well, what else could I do? How could I keep from singing? So I joined in, and we became a trio. And if I do say so myself, I think we sounded pretty damn good. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I want John to record every audiobook. Man, I love the way he talks.